Hey kijkers van DusDavidGames, ik zit nog steeds hier in Zwitserland bij Logitech en ik ben hier met een product developer van Logitech. Ik ga hem even een paar vragen stellen over wat er nou precies komt kijken bij het maken van de muizen, toetsenborden en headsets. En vooral wat science, wat wetenschap daar nou precies mee te maken heeft. So I just introduced you as a really nice guy. You probably heard that already. Thank you. I should be in marketing, shouldn't I? No, just kidding. I just told them you're in the development team here for Logitech for, well, at least these products as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a product manager for, I work on mice, but I also worked on keyboards and headsets over the past.
So, how does it work? You don't probably just buy like a stock keyboard and just put Logitech on it. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Maybe you can explain something about that, like how does it work from scratch?
So we start with what the gamers are actually doing, right? We start with gameplay and try to figure out how can we make that better. We have a lot of research and development happening here in our Switzerland office, but for headsets we also have a research and development facility in the state of Washington in the US. And we work with a lot of companies around the world to find the best components to put into products, and then we improve upon them in our own labs to make the products work better, so that the gamers have a better gameplay experience.
Right, and after that it's testing, testing, testing. You just showed me a slide where I saw, I think, I'll explain in Dutch. Ik zag net een foto, jongens, met wel 50 prototypes van één muis. So I saw like 50 pictures of prototypes for one mice. And how does it work from there? You just start with clay or with plastic and then you like have a test panel, or how does it work?
So when we're developing a new product, we actually start with a gigantic block of foam, and our designers will carve out the shape of a product, and we'll test, you know, anywhere from 8 to 15 different basic designs, and then do iterations on each of those to totally fine tune the way that the product feels. And we make sure that the product feels good before we even actually start doing development of internal features. So it can be challenging sometimes we have to come up with new ways to engineer products so that the physical form, the way that the product feels, is maintained, and we can also fit all the components that are necessary to make the thing work.
Exactly, and then you also have to challenge all the different types of games. I mean, there's MMOs, there are FPS, all different sorts of things. You actually have like different test panels for that, and you actually have to create each mouse individually, or is there like a basic model that you can work from?
So we try to make the product work with as many different genres as possible, right? You start out back in the late 90s where FPS was king. You know, MMOs came on in the 2000s, mid to late 2000s, and
World of Warcraft. Have you played it?
I have over 360 days in game. So,
days.
Days.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of. It was a good game.
Sorry, continue on.
So. Every subsequent generation of mice, we take what we've learned from the previous generation and add to it. So all of our products are well developed to work with all the different types of game genres that are popular. So as MOBA has become more popular, League of Legends is obviously incredibly popular right now. We've taken all the things we know about FPS and MMO, and we continue to have the most important core components of those while improving the products so that they're better for playing MOBAs as well.
All right, so let's just take an MMO. Even voor de uitleg, laten we het over League of Legends hebben. Let's just take League of Legends. If you were to design a mouse specifically for League of Legends, or you see a trend where people are playing those type of games way more, what's the extra stress on the mouse? What are you focusing on developing, well, your latest mouse?
So the sensor is still incredibly important. The comfort of the mouse is still incredibly important, right? It has to be very accurate. It has to feel good to hold for long periods of time, because, I mean, a standard, you know, Summoner's Rift game is going to last 45 minutes to an hour. So you have to be comfortable holding it for a long time. But in the last couple of years, you know, with Diablo and Torchlight and LOL and StarCraft 2, we've seen a lot more clicking.
Yes.
Is really the way that the game are being driven now. And if you're the math that we do, if you're playing 10 hours a week, you're clicking 2 times a second for 45 minutes. You're going to click 3 million.
Right?
Exactly. You're going to click 6 million times a year. So we had to double the durability on our switches.
Which was?
It was 10 million. Now it's up to 20 million. And it's not just about sourcing a different component. You actually have to engineer a lot do a lot of engineering on the key plate side to make sure that the plastic that the buttons are made of doesn't fail.
Exactly. Otherwise, it becomes like smooth and slick, and you start sweating within 10 minutes. And that's not the general idea with the compound that you're using, right?
It's also on the part where on the underside of the key that actually touches the micro switch. Over 15-20 million clicks, it can actually compress and stop being able to activate the switch. So and there's a lot of engineering that goes on under the hood to make 20 million clicks happen.
Exactly. Now, obviously, you don't have to change much about the optics, the laser, when you're focusing on extra clicks to add to the lifetime of a mouse. I know that mice used to have like this ball, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not really technical about it, but what does a optic mouse actually do? How does it work? Like briefly, 30 seconds, just. I know my audience wants to know because I don't know, so probably most of you guys don't know either.
So basically, it's a tiny little CMOS camera, and it's a tiny little camera that takes pictures at thousands of frames per second, and it compares each of the pictures to each other and determines which way the mouse is moving. And the thing about the gaming sensors that we use is that they're designed to collect this information much faster than the standard sensor, so that you can actually move the mouse a lot faster, right? So if you're talking about meters per second, a standard mouse will start to have skipping or tracking problems at under 1 meter per second of movement, and our high end, our low end gaming sensor can track up to 3 meters per second. Our highest end gaming sensor can track over 5 meters a second. In terms of just so you can get a better performance for gaming.
And as a company, does Logitech actually approach these optic manufacturers themselves, and do you like ask them for specifics? I mean, they probably don't have like a really big stock shelf with this is like our 10 meter per second laser, this is like our 1 meter per second laser. How does that work?
So we actually
involved.
So I am not personally involved.
No,
because
the company, obviously.
So we have a number of engineers on staff who are incredibly smart about optical sensors, and we work very closely with the sensor manufacturers to develop new products for. Really, that ultimately get shipped to everybody. We've got an exclusive sensor right now that we worked with a sensor manufacturer to develop, that is in our G100S mouse. That's a very, very good performing sensor. That does some really neat things that we haven't actually revealed yet. So it's going to be interesting to see.
All right, we'll see the G-Lab in a few seconds, of course, after lunch. Then, of course, there's keyboards. I've been seeing the 710 Plus. I've been playing with it. What's your biggest? What makes you proud about it? It's an honest question, but yeah, just give me a quick introduction into the keyboard.
So the G710 Plus is similar to our other G keyboards in that it's got the macro keys, the 6 programmable keys, as well as the backlighting and the game mode button to turn off the Windows key. It's our first mechanical keyboard, so each key, rather than being situated over a silicon dome, is an individual mechanical switch. It's a tactile switch with a 45 to 55 gram force profile, and the reason that I like these so much, it's hard to quantify in just words. You have to actually touch one. You have to feel a mechanical keyboard in order to really appreciate how much it brings to gameplay. Plus, the individual switches are rated to 50 million actuations, which is, you know, it takes us 3 months to test 20 million clicks on the micro switches on the mouse. So it takes like 8 months to do the 50 million clicks on the keyboard. So it's a real investment in time to make sure that these things work.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of testing. 50 million, you said?
50 million clicks on the keyboard switches, ja.
Jongens, die toetsen op die keyboards, die worden dus 50 miljoen keer ingeklikt allemaal. En als dat allemaal werkt, dan pas wordt het product daadwerkelijk verkocht. Ik vind het interessant. Nou heb je natuurlijk een normaal toetsenbord, een normaal keyboard. Dat werkt inderdaad met een hele grote chip eronder, met kleine padjes en die worden ingedrukt. Een mechanisch toetsenbord heeft een heel mechanisme eronder en ik ga even aan hem vragen of hij daar iets over uit kan leggen. How does a mechanical keyboard work compared to a normal one? You just said something about domes and stuff, but there's actually like an actual switch on a mechanical keyboard, right?
Right. So the mechanical switches are individual components that have a metal contact that when you press it, it makes. With the silicon dome switches, which is what you find in most standard keyboards and most of our other gaming keyboards, there's a carbon pill on the underside of a silicon dome that makes contact with a mylar sheet that has traces on it. So the advantage of the mechanical switch is that it allows you to have a much more consistent and shorter throw. So you push the switch 2 millimeters, and already you've made the contact.
It works with a certain pressure, right?
Right, about 45 grams.
Yeah. Is that more or less than normal keyboards, or is it not comparable?
You can make a silicon dome that has whatever force you want. I mean, the gaming keyboards that we have, the G510 and the G19S, both are similar in terms of force profile. Although if you look at the actual force curve, it's a little bit different.
All right. So these mechanical keyboards, they kind of remind me of like a 20-year-old IBM keyboard, like the big one, the big white one. To me, it's kind of well, funny. It's not something I laugh about. But why does Logitech pick this up for gaming all of a sudden? If it's like 10 years ago until like maybe a year ago, it was always these standard kind of keyboards. And what is this something you got out of the esports community, or gamers demand? Why?
So absolutely, we listen to what our customers have been asking for, and you know, the mechanical keyboard is seen, as pretty much everybody knows, has seen a resurgence in popularity in the last few years. And you know, we even before there were other gaming mechanical keyboards on the market, we were getting hounded for, why don't you release a mechanical keyboard?
Testing.
Yeah, it wasn't entirely that. I mean, a lot of it is trying to make sure that you're making the right product, right? Making a product that actually delivers a benefit to the end user. So it's testing, not just in the sense of having a robot push the button, but also making sure that you're making the right decisions about what features to put on it, what the design is, what components to use it. So it's a strenuous and kind of elaborate design process to make sure you're making the right product.
Right, and the same probably goes for headsets, right? Getting the right product for gamers, stuff that they want. What's like a main feature that you took into the process of developing the headset that we just saw?
So the headsets, I'm guessing you're talking about the 430 and
yes,
the 2.
Yeah,
okay.
430.
Sure. So
because it's totally new.
Right, right. Yeah. Comfort is one of the biggest challenges with developing a headset, because everybody's head is different shapes, and you actually see different average sizes from region to region. So making a headset that's comfortable for everybody is really difficult. One of the in addition to just like the way that the headband works and the way the ear cups are shaped, with the G430, the G230, we did a lot of work to minimize weight and to minimize the effect of wearing it for a long time gaming in terms of heat and sweat. So the performance sport material that we use for the ear cups
It's breathing.
It breathes,
so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. It greatly reduces the amount of heat that you experience when you're using those, and the lightweight makes it more comfortable to wear for long periods of time too.
So the fabric that you use on the pads, is that something that you start off from an engineering side or from an experience side or testing side? Have you I don't know, checked other competitors, or have you just started with 10 different things, like from leather to, I don't know, fabric from your pants? How do you come up with something like that? How does it work, the process? So
the first thing that we do is we look at, how are people actually using these products, and what are the problems that they're having with the existing products. Exactly. And then we've got a number of teams that kind of scour the world looking for different components, different materials, different ways to design things. It's not a single entity. It's not like it's not like I say, people are sweating, so I'm going to put this fabric that I found in my closet on it. That we've actually got a lot of people running around the world and finding the best stuff possible to put into our products. And the material that we ended up using for the ear cups is it's very breathable, it's very light, it's washable. So it ended up being
You could take them off.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're hand washable. You can replace them. So it ended up being the one that we went with out of all of the different options that we had, because it fit the bill so well. So a headset that's not really testable in clicks or pressures. How does that work? I mean, I know you have a 3-year guarantee on it, or 2? Right. 3? 3. Yeah, 3-year guarantee on all our products, and we do testing on the cables, making sure that they're durable. You can plug them in and unplug them and so like. I mean, it's a lot of the testing we do is actually really boring. I mean, how many times can you plug in the USB cable and it it doesn't break? There are a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily think of. I mean, taking it off, putting it back on, taking it off, putting it back on. How many times can you rotate the mic boom up and down in order to get it out of your face? So yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, it's not like putting it on a robot and clicking it, but there is a lot of mechanical testing and durability testing that goes into all of our products. Well, I really like the headset, the fabric on the ear pad, which is, for me, it's the most important one. I mean, I'm a guy, so I don't really care about weight. Maybe girls or younger gamers are more concerned about that, but it kind of reminded me of the inside of a sports jacket or a jogging pants. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it sounds kind of weird. It's actually a material that is used in some running shoes as well. There you go. It's like we said, it's a performance sport material. It's designed to be very breathable, designed to. I mean, feet get really sweaty, so you want them to be able to expel heat really effectively. So it's a good material for that. Cool, nou ik vond het heel erg interessant. Ik ga zo meteen nog eventjes aan hem vragen wat nou zijn totale blik is van Logitech. Wat ze willen bereiken met deze G-serie launch. Het is mij wel redelijk duidelijk. Het gaat echt hier om de science, om de wetenschap. Maar ik wil toch nog heel eventjes van hem horen. Would you like a closure statement on Logitech's views on science and development? I don't know, try something. So I mean, science wins is the tagline that we're using. But I mean, it's what I think is really important to convey is that science is not a new tagline for us, right? Science is how we've been developing these products for years. So that's what's really important. This is just an affirmation of what we've been doing for literally decades. So basically, what you're saying is, if everybody should try it and they should be convinced. So what I'm saying is that we work hard to make sure that we're putting out the best stuff on the planet. So hopefully it's going to work for everybody too. All right, one quick question which I got on Twitter when I asked my audience. I have 45,000 followers. They wanted to know what about girls, because I actually have a lot of gaming girls in my audience. Mm-hmm.
is there like something Logitech does with girl testing, or do they keep it in consideration when they go with shapes of mices or headsets?
So yeah,
question.
Yeah. So all kinds of hand sizes are considered when we're developing products. I mean, there was a lot of work put into the G700, for example, to make sure that it was narrow enough to work with the average woman's hand, as well as with the average man's hand. So it's you know, ultimately it ends up being a
compromise.
Well, no, it's more about trying to figure out what the working within the averages of the entire global population for hand sizes, and you know, the human factors component of design is really challenging. It's not just about, you know, saying this is for women. You have to look at a lot of data about how the human hand or any other, you know, like the human head is on average the sizes of the different parts of it when you're developing a product, and absolutely we take into consideration both male and female data when we're developing products.
Yeah, I've seen that with the headset. It's really adjustable with the clip, and well, the ear pads are big enough but not too big, and they don't. I have big ears. Do I?
I don't know.
Thank you. En voor mij werkt dus prima die hele headset. Dus volgens mij is het inderdaad een redelijk universeel iets. En ik vind het heel erg tof. I would like to thank you for your time. Jullie hebben net gekeken naar een heleboel technische informatie. A lot of technical information about Logitech's new G-series line. If you'd like to know more, just click on the link below. Abonneer ook even op DusDavidGames als je nog meer wil zien. Like deze video en bedankt voor het kijken.